So, but I mean, if you looked at the old days of say stock car racing, guy would roll up with a 6-pack under his arm and
Let's do some
put on a
racing.
helmet and just drive.
Yeah,
So
true. I mean, it's a sport. Don't get me wrong. But.
Yeah, it's a sport. Yeah, the level of reflexes and like what Lugs was getting at, endurance of just not only just how long you have to be that level of concentration so that you don't die barreling into a wall.
Okay,
Yes.
now we'll get a lot of hate mail. Just leave us an email and subscribe to this podcast. Okay, uniform changes. T-Dog, breaking news on the NFL front. What is happening? What?
I just want to just bring these up. Obviously, these are alternates, so obviously these aren't replacing the old ones. But it's just cool. And again, it's just hopefully to, it'll be different looking. The Bengals announced that they're gonna have with their all white uniform that they're also gonna white out the helmet where the orange is taken out and it's white with stripes. And I believe also the Panthers are gonna have a black one. Doesn't look as good. I mean, I'm sorry. The Panthers, there's already too much going on the Panthers helmet.
Always has been.
Like when you black it out, like you still see the Panther, but it's like I'm kind of, I don't know. But I just want to say the Bengals one, I saw a shot of it. I just was like, you know what? This is last year started this change on probably the Bungles. Not that was ever, I think, really true because Marvin Lewis turned them into a fairly solid team for his tenure. I know they didn't win the playoffs, but they were clearly not one of the worst teams in the league. But like just another step in getting away from the
the picture of that helmet up to the camera, will you? Oh man, people like that.
Nice.
It's really sweet, isn't it, man? Yeah, I love that. And yeah, as long as the Panthers still have the teal blue, it's gonna be a bad day.
No, we got to keep it. That's Lugs can tell us. That's them trying to pay tribute to Carolina Blue.
Seriously? Oh yeah, the Carolina Blue, baby.
Yeah, you have to pay. They have to have blue in their uniform.
See, what they did was they went, they played both angles. They have the Duke Blue and the Carolina Blue all in the same uniform. So there you are. Play it all.
Yellow and blue make green. All right.
Is the black for Wake Forest Lugs?
Could be the Demon Deacons. Yeah.
Yeah. What about North Carolina State though?
The Pack.
Well, they're red. Nobody likes that.
Okay.
All right, a little bit other. Let's change the topic here. 33 past the hour and 101 degrees outside. Temperature feels like. The NBA Board of Governors have voted to pay $24.5 million to former American Basketball Association players, many of whom are struggling to pay rent, medical bills, and buy the basic necessities of life. It affects about 115 former players. When the ABA merged with the NBA, did you know it was in 1976? I didn't know it was that long ago. Just 4 teams were absorbed, leaving many players suddenly without paychecks, health insurance, and pensions. Lugs, this is good news.
Yes, it is. But you know me, I've got to do the reality check here.
Check.
If you played 3 years in the ABA, you get $3,800 per year of service. So $3,800. Rent now on average is probably $1,200 a month for maybe a two bedroom somewhere. So it's something, but it ain't a whole lot. I think the guy who I heard would make the most was with Freddie
Lewis.
Yeah, Freddie Lewis. He'll get like $35,000.
Yes, because he played 9 years.
What do you think, T-Dog?
Kind of like what Lug said. I mean, it's obviously a nice gesture, and it's not a pension. They made sure to explicitly state it's recognition.
It's just a payoff, isn't it?
The recognition payments. I mean, still it's something. I mean, kind of like what Lug said. It's still sad that most of these guys. I mean, they're not going to be able to live off it because the story went into that you sent us. It brought up like how one was a bus driver. Some guys are now homeless. A guy who was on the Kentucky Colonels, he was using kerosene to heat his home because he couldn't afford electricity. So, I mean, luckily it's a step in the right direction, and it sounds like I'm trying to get the name right. It was the Dimes. Was it the
Dropping Dimes? Yeah,
Dropping Dimes out at the nonprofit out of Indianapolis. They helped really champion this cause, and it's going to be the NBA and the Players Association. They're going 50-50 on it, so the money's coming from two sources, and it's nice to know that. And like they said, a lot of the guys in it, they're happy to be recognized, but hopefully more can be maybe done in the future to help them, because kind of like one of them said, who unfortunately did die before this was announced, he said they're just waiting for us to die out. So,
I mean, $24.5 million sounds like a lot of money, but not from a league that makes billions of dollars. You're right. And when you spread it over that many people, it suddenly gets pretty watered down.
Well, and what really gets me is you got guys like Ben Simmons, Kyrie Irving,
right?
Deciding I'm not going to play, even though they signed a $30 million a year contract.
Good point.
But I think some of that's turning around. I hope, because Kyrie couldn't find a team. Nobody wants Ben Simmons, and apparently nobody wants KD. They can't make a deal for any of those guys.
Right.
So maybe we can get away from some of that prima donna behavior in the NBA. But, I mean, let's be honest. The team, like Milwaukee, San Francisco, or Golden State.
Golden State, yeah.
I mean, those guys are sort of at the optimum now. So maybe that sort of NBA will take over in the future, and they'll get better ratings. I mean, because let's be honest, the March Madness stomps the NBA in the ratings every year.
Yeah, and kind of going back to what J-Boy was talking about, just in terms of like how much the money NBA makes, their TV contracts are coming up, and considering what the MLS got with Apple,
right,
the money they're going to make from their TV is going to jump incredibly, massively,
exponentially, right?
Yeah, so the amount of it'll probably put more focus on this again, hopefully down the line, to get more of a percentage to these former players in the ABA.
Our crack research team looked up this. So the ABA brought us the 3-point shot and originated the slam dunk contest at its 1976 All-Star Game. And by the way, the ABA All-Star Game was held in Louisville twice, 1969 and 1972, in the league's short 9-year history, all with that beautiful red, white, and blue ball. And by the way, the 4 teams that merged with the NBA, can you guys name any of them? Got them right
here. The Pacers?
Yes, check.
Nuggets,
check.
Nets.
Jazz.
No Jazz. Nets, yes.
Spurs,
yes, sir. Denver Nuggets, San Antonio Spurs, Indiana Pacers, and now Brooklyn Nets. So that's what we want. One more little NBA note, and then we'll bust off for tonight. After 4 years of lobbying and no sign of NBA expansion anytime soon, Hall of Famer Dan Issel, former Denver Nugget, in fact, he says there's so much fatigue now that his effort and others are recently giving way to resignation and anticipate no expansion to towns like Louisville for an NBA franchise. What do you guys think about that? Did they give up? Should they keep going? What?
I think it's a lost cause. I mean, you just don't have the number of people to consistently support a team. Plus, I mean, it's Wildcats and Cardinals. I mean,
true.
So I think the city's better with just the Wildcat Cardinal sort of thing rather than an NBA team that maybe you could get off the ground. I just don't see it.
I wouldn't say, I'll put it this way, I wouldn't say that it's too small of a market, because Memphis can't be that much larger if it's larger at all. I don't think it is. But to be fair to y'all's point, again, I don't want to speak bad about Issel, but I mean, I never thought this thing was ever going to happen. So, like, was he getting paid by like a group?
He was. He was taking a paycheck.
Man, what a sweet gig that was. You just have to sell people on a dream that's never going to happen for years. That's pretty nice retirement gig, I guess.
Yeah, he was doing okay, I guess.
I tip my cap to him. I mean, that's what we all hope for in retirement, to get a paycheck and just tell people something that everyone's okay if it doesn't happen. I mean, they'd like for it to happen, but if it doesn't happen, it's not like something we can't live without, So,
and our crack research team just talked to my ear here. Louisville is the 49th television market. Memphis is the 51st. So you were right.
Yeah. And again, I guess maybe because.
So how many Memphis games have you seen on TV?
Well, I'm just saying, I'm not saying that there's a lot, but
more with John Morant now that he's there.
Yes, John Morant, and also down the road, if they are able to build around him, you're going to see a lot more.
But okay, I will believe that. Sure.
It sounds like you believe so much.
Hey, let me get in one final note here that I just saw recently.
Final note. Go ahead. Yes.
Texas Tech, they have a group of Red Raider boosters. They're going to pay 100 Red Raider football players $25,000. That's the 85 scholarships and the other guys, the 15 walk-ons. They're going to pay them all $25,000. That to me is wild, that a kid can just show up. Hey, I'm walking on if I can get 25 grand. Come on.
I would like to see that article because, it is a Wild West now because of essentially what the Supreme Court did to the NCAA, but still that thing has to be written in a certain specific way. Because if they're just like, we're giving you 25,000, I think that's like the only way they can bust you.
Well, it's called the Matador Club, and they're a non-profit collective.
Olay.
No, okay.
And guys will get monthly payments beginning when they go into training in August.
People are figuring this thing out, aren't they? This NIL.
NIL. Well, like I said, I don't think there's a lot to figure out because essentially the Supreme Court neutered them. And on some level, I guess legitimately, but the problem is because there's nothing to kind of sanction this stuff, it is just like, let's give these people money because, again, how they're going to enforce it. And this will be the last thing to tie in locally.
Go.
This is what's frustrating about the whole scandals with U of L basketball team. And I know it was before NIL, but it's like, this thing is still in litigation with the FBI and whatnot. It's just like, how can we even care about this when people are just shoving money in front of multiple kids now? And it's just, why are we even worried about what's in the past now? Can't we just be like, all right, it's done. It doesn't matter.
That's an NCAA problem. And NCAA doesn't care anymore, I don't think. As long as they can maintain their one cash cow left, which is March Madness, that's all they have. So they're not going to put any effort into anything. They don't care.
All right. All I got to say about that, it's so hot. How hot is it? I'm sweating like a politician on Election Day. That'll bring to a close this edition of Sports and Other Stuff, brought to you in part by Rudy's Furniture Mart, back as a sponsor this week. Must liquidate to the bare walls. Everything must go. We know. Say no. Go there tonight, and there's a guy we know. He's there right now.
Fish. And this week, our man in the know will host the Crazy Fact Trivia Game. What's a crazy fact, you ask? How about the fact that a dime has 118 ridges around the edge? The giant squid has the largest eyes in the world. The fact that most people fall asleep in 7 minutes. And stewardesses is the longest word that can be typed using only the left hand. And finally, Napoleon was once attacked by a horde of bunnies. Did we get your trivia motor running? The winner of the Crazy Fact Trivia Game will get an autographed picture of Frank Sinatra and Mia Farrow's wedding. Old Blue Eyes was 50 at the time, and Mia Farrow was 21. Fish says Italian singers have all the luck. Come on down this Saturday at 1 p.m. and show your font of useless knowledge.
Well, with that bit of information, you're definitely going to want to tune in again to another edition of Sports and Other Stuff. Until next time, so long.
Bam, bam, bam. That is unbelievable.